Let's go now straight over to the host of Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered. She's over there in LA. She is Kinsey Schofield. Hi, Kins.
Hi, Kev. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Well, let's talk about the big story of the weekend. We followed, with sympathy and horror, the plight of poor Thomas Markle, Meghan Markle's father, now currently living in the Philippines with his older son, Thomas Markle Jr. The guy's been through since, for the last 7 years or so, a heart attack, 2 strokes. Used to live in Mexico, has moved to the Philippines, went through an earthquake not so long ago, but survived that okay. Now he's had emergency surgery, this was emerged last week, for a blood clot, which has necessitated, very sadly, the amputation of his leg. Doctors, Thomas Markle Jr. explaining, look, this is touch and go. They've told me my dad might not survive. So we're all going, surely Meghan's going to reach out. Surely Meghan's going to bury the hatchet after 7 years of not talking to her dad. Surely she's going to do it now. So we hear over the weekend, oh yes, her people, her publicity people, yes, she sent an email. This was amazing to me. She sent an email, and when it didn't get bounced back, she assumed he'd got it. Not sure about that. Now we're hearing today, reports now saying she's been trying to call. She's been calling around Philippines hospitals trying to find her father. Well, look, I've got Thomas Markle Jr.'s phone number. I could find out what hospital he's in probably 5 minutes. Now, Meghan Markle phoning around, is this where my dad is? Is this where my dad is? Are you buying that story?
It's my understanding that Doria continued to communicate with Meghan's father long after their falling out. Where is Doria? Why is Doria unable to assist? You can't just pick up the phone and call the Daily Mail, who's literally in the same room with Thomas Markle, talking to him and recording him for the Daily Mail. It's my understanding that the Sussex team has them on speed dial. Otherwise, how did we get such crisp and clean images of Meredith Maines, Meghan and Harry's PR girl, meeting with the King's communications guru, Tobin Andre, back in July? How did we get such clear images of the Sussex team meeting the King's team in the Daily Mail back in July? Meghan has access to reporters at the Daily Mail. We know that because whenever there are hints that Harry and Meghan are coming back for royal duty, as if, we know that that's coming from Team Sussex. And this is also, Kev, don't forget, the same woman who Serena Williams calls so smart in Harper's Bazaar, and the same woman that sat on the stage at Fortune's Most Powerful Women. If you're so powerful, it shouldn't take you a damn week to figure out where your father's located.
Well, I'm not saying that Thomas Markle Jr.'s phone number is that easy to get hold of, but it is obtainable, and
Right.
If Meghan Markle wanted to speak to her dad, she could get hold of Thomas Markle Jr.
Well, and her lawyers are regularly in touch with Samantha Markle, her half-sister.
Exactly. She could get that number. This idea, the latest image we've been sold of Meghan Markle desperately phoning around hospitals in Philippines to try to find the one that her dad's in, it doesn't stack up. She could get that number. She could get from Tom. She could get from Tom Jr. how to get in touch with her dad. Tom Jr., I'm sure, will go to the hospital, give him his phone. Maybe Thomas Markle Sr. has got a phone as well. She could get that number. I'm just not. I don't believe this story that she's. There's. The Duchess of Sussex desperately in Montecito going, "Hi, do you have my dad there? Hello, do you have my dad there?" It really is hard to believe, isn't it?
It's the worst crisis PR scenario that her team could ever imagine. Her trying to shill this familyless Christmas show on Netflix, and her dad, her actual family member, lonely, scared, in a hospital in a foreign country, losing limbs. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So yeah, they're going to, in my opinion, lie about Meghan Markle's state and Meghan Markle's actions. Because Wednesday, Meghan Markle's show drops on Netflix, her joyless, familyless holiday special. And we find out that Thomas Markle Sr. has been rushed to the hospital. He has a medical emergency. Harry finds out. He still sits down with Colbert and jokes around with Colbert. Meghan finds out. She's still sharing Colbert posts on Instagram. And her team has the audacity to say, we're actually trying to find out if these are credible reports. They want to embarrass the family by accusing them, in my opinion, of lying about this medical emergency. Meghan says she's not sure if it's true or not. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? If this is true, please give my father some space. I imagine that this is a very traumatic time for him, which she has not done since 2016, 2018. She's not protected this family. She throws questions around its validity and tries to hint that maybe her family's just doing this for attention. And then on Friday, we're now 3 days post initial hospital visit. Catherine and her family and her entire family are rolling up to Westminster Abbey, showing that holiday spirit, unity, love, a strong family value set. And there's Meghan releasing to People magazine that she vaguely reached out to her father, a woman that spends half an hour writing, "You're so brave, you're so strong," in love notes to her children and her husband on a holiday special, wants us to believe that she thought an email was the appropriate measure when her father was in a life or death situation. And then her team, someone from her team or somebody tells the Daily Mail that she uses an old email that Thomas hasn't used in at least 5 years.
Come on.
I mean, it's all this. Every time you and I have a conversation about Meghan Markle, it's this person said this, that person said that. There is never a clear, copacetic message. Harry and Meghan are dishonest, in my opinion. They lie. They lie to look better. Throw back to the Kardashian Picturegate, saga. The Markles, and I'm talking about Meghan, I'm not talking about Thomas Sr. The Markles are messy. And this is exactly why Prince William cornered his brother and said, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure that this is the appropriate route? Are you sure that this is the right woman? Because Meghan is messy.
Yeah, this is the scenario. This is the way I see it. You, me, lots of royal watchers over the years have said, "Come on, Meghan, your dad's just had a heart attack. Come on, Meghan, your dad's just had another stroke. Get in touch." She never does. Just keeps the drawbridge up. Makes this special, the holiday special of With Love, Meghan. Such an important time for family and friends. Yeah, what about your family? What about your dad you haven't spoken to for 7 years just because he posed for some pictures for the paparazzi? What about your brother, half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr.? What about your half-sister, Samantha Markle, who you also haven't spoken to? So never mind your family claptrap. But here's the deal. So we've said this all the time. Come on, Meghan, show a heart. She never does. But this time, even she realised, oh my God, the optics of me not getting in touch now that my dad clearly is at death's door.
And I'm clearly trying to sell a Christmas show about family.
Well, well, exactly. She realised now I've got to do something. And what she means by do something, this is my speculative scenario. What she means by doing something is she puts out a message saying, oh yeah, I've sent an email. It didn't bounce back, therefore I assumed he got it. Well, most of us are then going, hang on, your dad's just had a leg amputated. He's at death's door.
Your brother says he's high on medication.
But he's fighting for his life. You send him
and under a bunch of machines. When you have all those machines attached to your body, is your first instinct really to check your email?
Yeah, well, exactly. And also, an email isn't enough. We're going, pick up the damn phone, call your dad. And by magic, what happens over the weekend? Yes, Meghan has been trying to call. She's been ringing round hospitals trying to find her father. That bit of the story, just as I said earlier, it just doesn't stack up. If she wanted to talk to her dad, she could, and she should let us know, and she should get him to confirm it to his friends at the Daily Mail. I agree.
Yeah, I just think that this is all a crisis PR solution, and it's the worst possible because, like you said, we will have receipts. And I think that that's one of the reasons why she's gone off in all of these different directions. Because I kept saying, when people were messaging me after the initial very vague statement, she's reached out to her father.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
what do you mean by that? Yeah.
All of everybody loved that headline. I saw it regurgitated a million times, and people were reaching out to me, and I said, I'll wait for Thomas Markle Jr. to confirm it. He'll show us phone records. He'll have the receipts. And so then I think she realized that too, and she started having to change whatever version of the story it is today. Oh no, it was in an email. Oh no, I'm calling a bunch of hospitals.
Yeah. What is it you need? What is it you need from me that will make the story, which will make me look nice? That's what this is all about. You're right. This has just been a PR operation, and her worst nightmare is this: that Thomas Markle is sitting down with Caroline Graham from the Mail on Sunday, who I used to know quite well when we were over in LA. Very good journalist, obviously, and she's in there with Thomas Markle, and whatever Meghan Markle tries to say, as she tried at the weekend, I've been in touch, I've reached out. So immediately Caroline asks Thomas Markle, have you heard from your daughter? No. Has she called? No. Have you had an email? No. In other words, whatever story Meghan tries to construct, to concoct, Thomas Markle Sr. is lying there in a hospital bed in the Philippines, able to say whether or not it's true. So her next story, desperate. I've been trying to find him, making lots and lots of phone calls to Philippines hospitals. That again gets her off the hook in terms of why potentially she hasn't spoken to him. Do you see what I mean? She's making...
Yeah, there's a very specific tone. Have you noticed the new very specific tones today? Desperate. Meghan desperately trying to get a hold of her father. Since when, y'all? It's almost been a decade, okay? Yeah. We've had a heart attack. I think we've had multiple heart attacks or strokes. There was a point in time where he could not speak and had to write everything on a chalkboard or a dry erase board. You know, this is all just Meghan trying to desperately salvage what's left of her piss-poor reputation.
I mean, this is it. I mean, again, to go back to this, just before Christmas, when she's launching her lovely, happy, snappy Christmas special on Netflix, this to use that phrase again, this is her absolute worst nightmare. This is a PR catastrophe. And frankly, the only way she can actually claw this really a catastrophic situation back is to talk to her dad. I don't think she wants to, but I think
she does not. She has no desire to. Go back and watch the Netflix series where Harry and Meghan talk about the loss of their fathers. And Meghan talks about her father as if he's passed away, that he's gone. He's no longer on this earth and accessible to her. Yeah. That's not the case. And you can sit there and joke around and FaceTime with James Corden on his late night show, Harry and Meghan, but Meghan can't FaceTime her children with their grandfather so he can see what they look like for the first time.
No, exactly. So she needs to talk to him, but I got a feeling she doesn't really want to. But every time she pretends, she's not in a position where she constructs what she would call her truth. That's what she wants to do. She wants to build her own truth around this situation. But every time she tries that, Thomas Markle's sitting there in that hospital bed to say, no, I haven't heard from her. No, she hasn't called me. So she either calls him, or I think the world are going to go, what kind of a woman are you?
Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't want to communicate with your dad, I'm not going to say that's okay. I think it's pretty cruel. But the least you could do is connect him with some amazing doctors, or say, how can I help financially? Because it's my understanding that the insurance is challenging. Thomas's bills currently at the Philippines hospital. How can you help him? Can you get him in touch with an expert here in the States that can give him some sort of comfort and let him know that what's going on in the Philippines is the right direction that he's headed in for his health? I don't think he's had the second surgery about the blood clot in his thigh, regarding the blood clot in his thigh. There is still concern for his future. I mean, talking about the earthquakes, he lives high up in an apartment complex in the Philippines. That's a new way of life he's going to have to adjust to. And Thomas Markle Jr., that's a lot of physical work that's going to go to Thomas Markle Jr. supporting his father. Does he need a full-time nurse around? Does he need to move out of his current apartment and find one on a lower floor, to make his life easier? There are a lot of questions up in the air. Meghan, you don't have to have a one-on-one conversation with your father, although it would be the decent thing to do. But is there a way, while you continue to tell us how to elevate things, is there a way that you could make his life a little easier going forward, considering the fact that he opened up so many doors for you and gave you the life that you have today?
Yeah, well, listen, this is what I would suggest to Meghan. I would hope she would do this on a personal, emotional level. But
good luck.
Considering she tends to calculate her publicity broadsides, even if she wants to do it for PR reasons, this is what she should do. You let me know what you think the chances of her doing that. This is what she should do, without a shadow of a doubt, if she wants to retrieve her shattered, devastated public image right now. And that is this: get on a damned aeroplane, fly out, and see your dad, possibly before it's too late. That's what she should do. What do you think the chances of her doing that are, Kinsey?
Oh, she's got to put the 8 mugs out the night before for the holiday party. She's already working on her mom's gumbo for Christmas Eve. No, Thomas Markle interrupting Meghan's holiday magic this year? Absolutely not. She is one of Harry and Meghan are two of the most selfish, self-serving people I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I know I say this all the time, but it's been 2 years now since the King and the Princess of Wales. It's almost been 2 years since they told us that they have cancer. Catherine, thank God, is in remission. Have you seen Harry and Meghan show up to one cancer charity to support, to subtly support the King and Princess of Wales?
No,
I mean, they are so self-consumed. I don't think they care. We find out Thomas is in the hospital. Harry's cracking jokes at a luncheon on Thursday about Downton Abbey and is on Colbert Wednesday night when the news breaks. These people are callous and cruel.
They certainly come across like that. Let me ask you, moving on to Harry, what do you think about this? I mean, I nearly yawned when I saw this story. The Home Office here in Britain, the equivalent of your Home Security Department, have agreed to yet again review the security arrangements of Prince Harry and potentially his family when they come to Britain. So he continues, having failed twice in the courts, to get a ruling that he gets automatic gun guard protection from our cops when he comes here. He's failed twice, spent a lot of money on that. Obviously, critics saying, well, you don't deserve it, you're not a working royal. Why should we spend our taxpayers' money protecting you? Yet again today, the Home Office have agreed to review this. This is because he's like a little kid who hasn't got his way, keeps stamping his feet, and as we understand it, it's being sold to the authorities that if you just give Harry the automatic gun guard protection that he wants, then he can bring his grandchildren over to see the King. That's what it's being sold as. But let me tell you, Kinsey, we, the British taxpayers, we don't want to spend a penny on that guy who is shirking his duties. Why should we pay for his protection when he doesn't work as a frontline royal? He's over there.
But he's trying. But Kev, he has very intentionally tried to look like one. the last few times
Yeah,
he's been out.
yeah, but he's not though, is he? So we
No,
do
he's
not. We
but
do
I
not.
think that that's a huge conflict because he is trying to. He wants to. He wants to look like one, but then he goes on Colbert and trashes Trump, which you're not supposed to do as a royal.
Yeah.
So I think that there are so many conflicts here.
Yeah, but the people of Britain do not want to pay a penny for that guy's protection. What are your thoughts? I mean, we here in Britain, it's like, oh my God, not again. Can we please put this issue to bed? Unless that guy, old Ginger Nuts, comes back here and starts performing frontline royal duties like the rest of his family,
Which no one wants.
He does not get automatic gun guard protection. End of. End of. Please, can we just drop this issue?
Yeah, I think that the current setup is really convenient. Harry currently just has to contact the Met Police 30 days before arriving in the UK, and they do a security review on a case-by-case basis. And that seems to have worked out really well so far. Harry has remained safe in the United Kingdom whenever he visits. He's only been able to present them, I believe, with one instance where he felt like he had a stalker after the Well Child Awards. I don't believe it was this year, but perhaps it was last year. But I cannot, off the top of my head, present you with any evidence that there have been any other incidents where Harry's felt like his life was in jeopardy. In fact, we have Ring door cam footage of him aimlessly wandering through a neighborhood looking for a friend that moved that didn't kill him. Like,
yeah, going to the wrong address.
Yeah, obviously he feels safe enough to wander around a neighborhood he's not familiar with looking for old friends. I'd also stress that I understand the argument that Harry was born a prince and this is his reality, but Harry also does things to jeopardize his own safety. And if I were a UK taxpayer, that's where I would step in and say, you don't behave like somebody that is fearful for their lives. Otherwise, you wouldn't be bragging about all of your kills in Afghanistan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And also, Kinsey, he's like a Hollywood celebrity now coming back. We don't pay for Tom Cruise's protection when he comes in, nor would he expect it. Right. Harry has to understand he's not technically a proper member of the royal family anymore. It's as simple as that.
He also does something else that I think is very important to point out. The biggest form of violence we have in the States right now is political violence. Look at what's happened in the last 6 months in my country. I have a president, not in the last 6 months, but there were multiple assassination attempts on the president of the United States.
Charlie Kirk, of course, yeah.
And for Harry to get on TV and to try to stir the pot when it comes to politics in such a tense political climate, if I'm somebody reevaluating his security situation, I advise him to shut the hell up and stop that right now. Aside from the fact that as a royal, and when he left the royal family, he promised Queen Elizabeth that he would behave in a certain manner that I believe he's violated over and over. I do think he jeopardizes his own safety by trying to insert himself in American politics. We fought a war. People died. So we wouldn't have to hear from royals about the future of the United States of America. And I think he really needs to be sat down and counseled on that, because if I were a UK taxpayer, I'd say absolutely not. This guy does this to himself.
Totally right, Kinsey. Well said. Just before you go, Meghan Markle loves picking up awards. She's got a new award that you sent me. It's from the store Kitson, I remember it well, down on Robertson Boulevard. Tell me what award Kitsons have decided that Meghan Markle warrants. What does she want?
I'm gonna have to look up the exact title.
Well, I've got a hit. Villain of the Year. Villain of the Year.
That's right. She's featured on a display on the outside of Kitson, one of the most popular pop culture places in the city to go for grabbing gifts. You run into Paris Hilton there. You run into all of the celebrities there. Yeah. And she's on the storefront with Gavin Newsom, with Mayor Karen Bass.
George Clooney. Katy Perry. These are all villains of the year.
Yeah, characters that have really let down the city of Los Angeles and really let down all of us over the last year, and they were so irate. They contacted me after the Palisades fire, and Kitson was where they live and some of their employees live, and they were so angry that Meghan was trying to use that as a PR opportunity for herself and to platform herself, those fires, that I am not surprised by this at all. This is also not the first time Harry and Meghan, but this time Meghan solo appeared on Kitson's, wall of shame.
Yeah, and they've got it. They've mocked up in the window of this store on Robertson. The Duchess has got a hat on, and it says Montecito Diva, and they're basically calling her the Queen of Holiday Hypocrisy. This is their Holiday Hypocrisy window display, and bearing in mind the plight of her poor old dad, Thomas Markle, and that happy, snappy smile she puts on, the Richter grin throughout her holiday special, With Love, Meghan, I would say Holiday Hypocrisy is about the size of it. Kinsey, fantastic half an hour as usual.